Hello everybody. Today we're going to be looking at MLA format requirements, and I want you to know that I created this so that you can reference it multiple times. Hopefully this will be something helpful for you. And keep in mind that I'm only addressing a few very simple details. They make entire handbooks on the MLA format. So we will only be looking at a few very specific and very important aspects of MLA format. First, let's consider general guidelines. Type your paper. Normally on MLA format, you will print this out on standard white 8.5 by 11 paper. Remember, for this assignment, your final draft will be submitted electronically online. You will double space the text of your paper. The entire paper will be double spaced. And make sure you use a legible font. I would recommend and highly encourage you to use Times New Roman. But whatever font you choose, the regular and the italics type styles should both contrast enough that they're recognizable from each other, and the font size should always be 12-point font. Make sure you set the margins of your document to 1 inch on all sides. Indent the first line of each paragraph to 1/2 inch from the left margin. Use the tab key as opposed to pushing the spacebar 5 times. Now, I took typing when I was in high school with a typewriter, and I did have to count, but those days are over. Make sure you set your tab and always push tab so it's very consistent. You will create a header that numbers all your pages consecutively in the upper right-hand corner, 1/2 inch from the top and flush with the right margin. You will have your last name and page number on every page. And make sure to keep in mind to use italics throughout your essay for the titles of longer works. Now, I just gave you quite a few different specific requirements, so we're going to look at how to do some of those things. All right, like I said, we're going to be taking a look at how to do some of the things that we just discussed. And so let's take a look at a Microsoft Word blank document to see how to establish some of these things. First of all, we'll set our margins. So let's go here to the top. We'll click Page Layout, and you'll see a little tab that says Margins. If you click, you can choose several different choices. We want 1 inch on all sides, top, left, bottom, and right. So we will select that option. Also, we will want to make sure that we double space. So if you go here to Paragraph, you can open up your menu options, and it says line spacing. We are going to select double and click OK. Now we are double spaced, our margins are correct. Now we need to make sure that we have a good font. So if we go into Home, Microsoft Office now selects a different default font, but you can go ahead and type in Times New Roman and select that, and they automatically go with 11-point font, but we want 12. So we will type in 12, so we will have a 12-point font, and Times New Roman 12-point font looks like this. Now what we want to do is create a header. Now there are 2 ways you can do this in Microsoft Word. The first is fairly simple. You've already set your margins. You're going to click above it. If you double click, this header screen will automatically show up. And what you'll do is click Page Number. You want it at the top of your page. And you can see there are several different options. This third one will bring it over here to the side, to the right side, which is what we want. And if you see, it's already about 1/2 inch down on the page. And then all you'll simply do is type your last name, not mine, yours, and leave a space. And your header, don't push enter, by the way. I did not mean to do that. And your header is complete. The second way you can do this, if you try to double click and nothing happens, is quite simple. You will click on the Insert tab here at the top, and you see that you have these similar choices again. You're going to select Page Number, top of page, and we have these same choices we had a few minutes ago, and we will select the one that is right justified, and then it looks like what we had before, and we want our last name, right before the page number. Remember, this is your last name and not my last name. I don't need to see any McClure 1 pages anywhere. Don't do it. Now that we have our header, we will be ready to begin formatting the first page of our paper. So let's go back to our example and take a look. As you see, this is the first page of an MLA formatted paper. There is no title page. So if you notice, we have our lovely header that we just created over here on the right hand side, and that will show up on every page and it will automatically number for you, so you do not need to worry anymore about your header. Now you will go to the very first line of the regular document and you will put your name. Then you will press enter, and remember we've already double spaced, so you don't need to make any other changes. Just press enter one time, and then you will put my name as your teacher. Mrs. McClure is fine. And then you will push enter again, and you will put our class, English 0306. And then you will press enter again, and you will put the date. Now I recommend putting the due date when you put in a paper, so you may as well just go ahead and put 10 May 2011. If you notice, dates in MLA are written in this order: day, month, and then year. So slightly different than we normally write things. So pay attention and make sure you put 10 May 2011. Now you will press enter one more time, and the next line is your title. Now if you notice, this title is not bolded, it's not underlined, it's not italicized, it's just a simple title. You capitalize the words that need to be capitalized, and we will have a lesson on that. So if you don't remember the rules of the lesson, go back and look in your book. And then once you have your title, you'll press enter again one more time. Push tab to indent for your first paragraph, first line of your first paragraph, and then you will begin typing your final draft. If you notice, this is what 12-point font in Times New Roman looks like, and you can see there it's very simple. You never will go double. You'll never push enter more than once throughout your paper. So you will make sure that you indent every paragraph, and they will all be the same because you've already set that tab margin. And you will just continue on through your paper. You notice that the header shows up on every page. When you use different headings in MLA, the title, or as you go, if you're doing something with a classification paper and you want to have different headings, take a look at how this is done. They'll be in a different font so that they stand out, but you don't need to make them bold. And then you will just make sure that it is left justified on the left side of the paper. Take a minute just to look through. We're just going to scroll through the paper really quick so you can see some examples. Now right here, this is a great example that I want you to see. We are going to do a works cited page at the end of the paper, and as you go, you will see this person has already had a source here. Now this Danhoff 7 lets us know that on her works cited page, this person has an author, last name Danhoff, who has written a book. The title is on the works cited page, and on page 7 of that book, we will find this quote that she has quoted here. This is what we need to do to avoid plagiarism and to make you look more reliable. You need to make sure that you cite your sources. As we go through MLA format, you notice there are not footnotes, there are not different long explanations of the title of the book within the text itself, just the simple last name of the author and the page number where you will find it. This is true throughout MLA format papers. Now, if you come to something where you already have said the title of it, of the work within your writing already, for example, right here, the author says, in his published dissertation, The American Agricultural Press, 1819 through 1860, Albert Lowther Demaree presents a description of the general content of agricultural journals. In parentheses, you only need to put the page number because you can expect that your reader is smart enough to figure out that we just explained where to find it. All we need now is a page number. Take a look at the remainder of this paper. Now, of course, this is longer than your paper has to be. So if it's not this long, it's okay. Don't be afraid. This is another important rule to know. When your quotation is longer than 4 typed lines, you need to use block quotes, which means you will indent it twice, so tab, tab, and then you will type your quote here. At the end of your quote, you will put your source, and then you will continue on with your paragraph. If this is the end of the paragraph, then the following line would be indented to start the new paragraph. Here we have another block quote here, and you see this one has an actual source. Take a look at this. This is another important thing to notice. We have the title, we have the concept that the author meant here. The author's last name was Hurt, and on page 190, the author has given this concept. Now, this is not a direct quotation, obviously, because we don't have quotation marks, but it is a concept that was borrowed from this other person. And now, it is not a bad thing to share someone else's idea. It's important, if you do such a thing, to give credit. So you can say, I didn't come up with this concept, or I didn't come up with this fact, here's who did. And it doesn't make you look bad, it makes you look more reliable. If you notice, the concept is here, the reference is here in parentheses, and then we have a period. You're never going to want to have your little reference here hanging out outside of the period. Now we will reserve another segment for the works cited page. I want you to consider a couple things that are new to 2009 MLA format. We use italics for all titles of larger works. So books, magazines, poems, articles, everything can have italics. But quotation marks are preferred for titles of shorter works. So things like poems or songs would have quotation marks, and titles, instead of being underlined for books, will be italicized. Also, it's important to know a few things that will be explained in our next segment, which is about the works cited page, because there are quite a few changes to the works cited page thanks to the widespread use of the internet. So those will come up in the next segment. Hopefully this has helped. If you have further questions as you're writing your paper, please email me. Just send me a quick question, and I'll be so happy to help you. Hope this helps.